Ballet became a really important part of American childhood over the course of the 20th century in a series of stages. I think one of those stages was in the early 20th century in the wake of Russian dancers like Anna Pavlova and Diaghilev's Ballet Russes touring the United States. They went all over the place. They went to large opera halls and they went to small venues. And so many Americans actually had some exposure to ballet during that period. And in a very American way, many of the people who saw those performances thought to themselves, I want to learn how to do that. And they were able to do so in growing numbers because many of the dancers on those tours, the people who danced with Pavlova or on the Ballet Russes tours, settled in the United States after their performance careers were over, particularly in the wake of the Russian Revolution when they weren't going to go back to the now Soviet Union. And so there were more teachers available. And so Ballet Class began to grow at that stage. There was also another turning point, I would say, after World War II, when the growth of the middle class and suburbia and the ability of many more American families to provide extracurricular activities for their children really expanded in many ways, and Ballet Class benefited from this new economic prosperity and an interest in children's development. And so ballet storefront studios in suburbs large and small all over the United States sprang up. There were still some European teachers, but there was also now several generations worth of American-born teachers who really began to teach American children all over the country. And for middle-class girls in particular, it just became de rigueur to go to ballet class at some point in their lives as a class marker. As you know, there were boys too, but for girls in particular, this really became an extremely prevalent activity. Most of those families probably didn't want their children to become professionals, but they did want them to take ballet class at some point. Another turning point happened in the 60s when a series of grants from the Ford Foundation to ballet institutions and companies and organizations really improved the standard of teaching throughout the United States, which brought more young people into ballet studios, into classes. And of course, by this point, we're talking about second, sometimes even third generation of within the same family of people taking ballet class. It became something that people just did because their mothers did it, maybe their fathers, their grandmothers even at a certain point. And so the population base for ballet class continued to expand over the 20th century.